Roy from Texas says, this wrapper should be called the OMG because it's that good. I wrap heavy to medium offshore rod blanks in which the power wrapping finishing machine makes short work of them. I have even done medium to light action redfish rods. The drying option is my new go-to, getting better than ever results. Combined with watching the Catch the Wave YouTube video, FlexCoat hits another grand slam with this machine. It's the last wrapper finisher you'll ever need. Here at FlexCoat, we design and build things for people who design and build things. And the DC777 is no exception. This is personally a dream come true for me because I've been thinking about the design of this machine for over a decade. And it's a power wrapper and finisher in one. And it really starts with this motor. It's our new dual control DC motor. It's super awesome. It's got an on switch for finishing. You could dial it up with the variable speed control, 40 to 420 RPMs. Dial it down to what you're comfortable in. Reverse it on the fly. It's got the slip clutch, which is really nice for getting in those tight areas, stopping the rotation. Then you can switch over to the foot control, and that's for wrapping primarily. Still got the variable speed and reversibility. And yeah, it's just all about control. Total control with this motor. This motor is 24 volts DC power that plugs right into your wall and has plenty of power for big rods. The FlexCoat original self-adjusting chuck is self-centering and has never dropped a rod. The 3 slot wall mounted spring-loaded roller supports will secure your rod, and they're easy to use. And because they hang from the PVC slot board, you can slide the thread control board seamlessly up and down the rod. And then you can switch out for the included handrest tray for finishing. The thread control board has a new layout, but with familiar FlexCoat components that keep it simple and give you room to work. Just dial in the desired thread tension and you're good to go. Notice this tension device has 2 Teflon square washers. Those are to help with metallic threads. And don't forget about the dovetail. This little guy really helps with power wraps. Moving on to the no mess hand rest finishing tray that keeps your hands steady and the finish plate accessible and ready to catch any drips. Jim says, I now enjoy sitting down to wrap a rod. It's a pleasure. I choose my wrapping speed, stop instantly whenever I screw up, back up effortlessly to correct the boo-boo.
Oops.
And can dial fast finishing speeds for butt wraps and slow finish speeds for micro guides. I can even turn the blank backward with the slip clutch while finishing with the motor still running forward. Okay, it's time to spread our wings and let this baby go to work. You know, Roger's got his measurement board here that he likes to build his favorite spinning rod with, so he can just easily lay out his guide spacing here. You know, Roger's never been any good at leaving well enough alone, so he came up with this nifty little lock for the motor that adds the benefit of a guide alignment tool to the machine. So he can maintain that rod being straight up and down so that he can use guide foot adhesive to align those guides perfectly straight up and down on his rod. You can see that he's maintaining a line of sight straight over that rod blank so that he can see that that guide is straight over that rod. And then he can work his way down the rod in the same fashion. And the great thing about this guide foot adhesive is it really allows you to even tweak those guides between wrapping and finishing so you get the perfect alignment. And of course, this lock now comes standard with the dual control motor. And let's not forget about the tip top. Roger can put the hoods on his reel seat facing down now so he can use gravity to help him perfectly align this tip top the first time. George, a rod builder from Alabama, says, the power wrapping finishing machine gives me the ability to wrap a small guide at a very slow speed and will speed up to do a long under wrap. All right! This machine also allows me to dial in the perfect speed to apply rod finish to my wraps, and the edges always come out straight. Wrapping and finishing a rod with this machine is a breeze. Okay, let's wrap this baby up. You know, Roger just starts a simple wrap, and you know, admittedly, we keep our wraps pretty simple at FlexCoat, but man, our rods look great. Just ask us, we'll tell you. You know, all wraps start by hand wrapping and then transition into power wrapping. And this transition can be awkward, but this motor really makes it easy. Because there's two ways to control the speed of this motor while wrapping, between the foot control and the variable speed adjustment on the motor itself, it gives you a lot of play in how to gain speed and slow down. This motor is very forgiving. Not to say that mistakes can't happen. They will. Like Roger with this guide, he went up over it a little bit. He's got to back up, just pull it off with that slip clutch. It makes it possible. He can just wind it back on by hand and just pick up power wrapping from there and finish off this guide wrap. It really makes it easy. Harris says, the FlexCoat dual control wrapping finishing motor is a true game changer. Speaking as a beginner, I'll tell you that being able to control your speed is key. Okay, now Roger can just swap out the control board for the handrest finishing tray, pour out his premix finished onto the aluminum foil, set his speed, slow that baby down to probably around 200 RPMs, and just start loading this thread full of finish. You know, we like to load it up near the guide foot, the tip of the guide foot, and let that finish flow into those tunnels. You know, the great thing about that aluminum tray down there is that if anything drips off, it will drip right down to that tray, and it makes for a no-mess workstation. You know, I'd like to call attention to Roger's technique here. It's kind of what we call catch the wave technique. We actually have a video for that. You should check that out on our YouTube channel, or you just search for FlexCoat Catch the Wave. It's really a good technique for working that finish down into that thread. This is just a saturating coat. You know, Roger's just trying to get it on there, working down the rod, get it on there. He'll come back over this once he gets all of the threads saturated. And then he'll come back down the rod and smooth it out just to be a saturating coat. You can see on these little tip guides, just puts a little stabilizing finger up there, keep it stable, and gets it in there, gets it saturated. Going down to this butt wrap, just load it up and come back. You see with this high RPMs, he can kind of easily just get it on there quickly, get it down in, and get it right up to that cork grip, but not up on the cork. It's kind of an intense little area, and you can see just a quick movement up and down that wrap really smooths that out and gets it level, saturated to where he can move on. So this machine's all about ergonomics, all about keeping it simple. He's got the slip clutch there. He can stop it, work it into the areas now that he's going back down that rod, making sure it's where he wants it and nowhere he doesn't. And this machine is all about ergonomics, keeping it simple. There's no belts to switch out, nothing like that. So let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.
This is how we do it.